ज्ञात्वा देवं सर्वपाशापहानिः क्षीणैः क्लेशैर्जन्म मृत्युप्रहाणिः तस्याभिध्यानात् तृतीयं देहभेदे विश्वैश्वर्यं केवल आप्तकामः In the 8th mantra, it was said, Natva Devam Muchyate Sarva Pashaihi. That was elaborated in the 9th, 10th and 11th mantra. What is the result of Atma Jnanam? Which was presented in the 8th, was elaborated with some more details about the Tattva. In the 10th mantra, it was said, Vishwa Maya Nivrittihi. And somebody, Vishwa Maya Nivritti, we saw that Ante, at the end of, at the culmination of the Gnana Yoga, Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam, Vishwa Maya Nivrittihi. There is removal, negation of the entire Maya. Or complete negation of the Maya. So somebody asked me that Ramanujacharya and all, because I talked about that in Dvaita, the dualism, Maya is real, Vishishta Dvaita, it is called qualified non-dualism. In qualified non-dualism, Maya is real. And in Kevala Dvaita means the pure non-duality, something like that we have to say. In that, the Maya is Mithya. Then he said, how they will interpret this Vishwa Maya Nivrittihi? Fortunately, I have got their commentaries. Their Ramanuja's commentary also I brought. So I didn't get time to read every time, but since that person asked. So there, two, three commentaries are there. One commentator writes that Prakriti Sambandha Nivrittihi means the person will be free from the connection with Maya. Like if you know somebody in high post, then what happens that if you are accused and you know the person in high post, you will be released. So when you reach Vishnu, then Maya will release you. Chhod dete. So something like that. The Prakriti Sambandha Nivrittihi, that is the interpretation. So some people are curious about it. Every time don't ask me, because otherwise we will have two camps to require. Since he asked, I also got curious, so I read this. Then it was said in the last mantra that by knowing this self-effulgent self, which is the truth of Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara, Sarva Pashapahanihi, there is removal, eradication of all binding factors, which are otherwise called klesha. And when that kleshas, afflicting factors, avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha are gone, then janma mrityu prahanihi. There is removal of janma mrityu. Two ways. One is I become free from the notion of janma marana. I am subject to birth and death. That particular idea goes away. I am born. I am going to die. People are some people are very curious to know, when will I die? When will I die? They go to the astrologer. And in astrology, there is a calculation for that, for calculating the lifespan. This is very complicated, and generally astrologers should not tell this. Otherwise, person, whatever period is living, also will be like dead only. So better. Maybe some positive change also can happen, some people say. But why should we bother about it? When I understand that I am not subject to birth, I am not subject to death, then it is like a dress. If you are a very rich person, are you worried that how long this dress work or will be useful? You hardly wear once or twice. So you don't bother about this. What is the lifespan of this dress? And also, I am not a dress. Similarly, person becomes free from the notion of birth and death. And finally, Videha Mukti, he becomes free from the cycle of birth and death. That was the meaning. And by avidhyanam, shravana manana nidhyasanam on that deva, the person becomes apta kamaha, a fulfilled person, appreciating himself to be non-dual reality, and deha bhede, when there is destruction of the body, tritiyam vishveshwaryam, complete oneness with the Lord, which is tritiyam, which is called third destination compared to the other two. Other two means heaven and Brahmaloka compared to them. This is the third destination that person attains when this body falls. Thus, Jivan Mukti indicated by Apta Kamaha, Videha Mukti, this Deha Vede Vishveshwaryam. Both were indicated as the result of Apta. Now, in the next mantra, you have seen the Anvaya for this, no? Not seen?
Yes. Yes.
So, the next mantra, this Atma Gnanam topic is being concluded with the glorification of Atma Gnanam or Brahmatma Gnanam. That is the next mantra. Etadneyam nityamevatma samstham.
Etadneyam nityamevatma samstham.
Natah param veditavyam hi kinchit.
Natah param veditavyam hi kinchit.
Bhokta bhogyam preritaram cha matva.
Bhokta bhogyam preritaram cha matva.
Sarvam proktam trividam brahma metat.
Sarvam proktam trividam brahma metat. Nityamevatma samstham. Natah param veditavyam hi kinchit. Bhokta bhogyam preritaram cha matva. Sarvam proktam trividam brahma metat.
Etat neyam nityam eva atma samstham na ataha param veditavyam hi kinchit bhokta bhogyam preritaram cha matva sarvam proktam trividam brahmam etat. So in the first line, Shruti is emphasizing the need for knowing this Brahman and how it is to be known. Both the ideas are conveyed. Etat refers to Brahma, the ultimate reality, the truth behind everything. That Brahma, Neyam, should be understood, needs to be understood. Let us put it in a little milder way. Because some people don't like should, and also we also try to avoid should. So, Neyam, this Brahman is to be known. Nityam, Nityam is necessarily. In Shastra, you might have heard, those who have studied a little bit Vedanta, Nitya Karma. There are some karmas are called Nitya. So generally Nitya Karma translation they give as regular duties, daily duties. But that is not correct concept in Karma Kanda. Nityam does not mean daily. Nityam has got the meaning necessarily. Necessarily to be done is called Nityam. Yasya akarane pratyavayah shruyate. So the Nitya Karma is that according to Mimamsaka, if it is not done, then there will be some papa. Doing, no result. Not doing, papa. Like you pay income tax. If you pay income tax, what does government give you? Nothing. You don't, just because you pay income tax, some price comes to you, no, nothing. Don't pay, there is a punishment. Anyway, so that is the concept of this Nitya Karma. Of course, Vedanti also accepts this Nitya Karma, but doesn't accept that not doing will get papa. Vedanti will say no. By presence only some presence will come. By abhava, absence, nothing should come. Then Vedanti has got explanation also. What does it mean that not doing creates pratyavaya? That also Vedanti explains, but that's a different topic. I just want to explain what is Nitya. Nitya means necessarily. So, etat Brahma Nityam Neyam. This Brahman is to be understood necessarily for moksha. For getting a job, Brahman is not required to be known. For getting a wife or husband, Brahman is not required to be known. Mokshartam etat Brahma Neyam. For getting moksha, this Brahman is necessarily to be known. And how is it to be understood? Not Brahman which is sitting somewhere in Brahmaloka. People think Brahmaloka means that there only Brahman is there. The name Brahmaloka. Indraloka, Indra will be there. Gandharvaloka, Gandharva will be there. Where will be Brahma? Brahmaloka. That's what the thinking of people may be. Brahman is not to be understood or wrongly understood as obtaining in some particular place only. That is a wrong understanding. It is something like somebody says, space. Now I want to understand space. Tell me, where should I go? To know space, where should you go? Did not go anywhere. It's everywhere. But initially we say, how? You know, what is there inside? That is for space. Just to make you appreciate what space is. Because you are seeing the object part, you are seeing clip, you are seeing book, you are seeing. Therefore somebody says, what is this space, Swami? The Akasha, what is this? You know what is inside? That is Akasha. So initially we may say that. But finally what we understand, wherever you are, Akasha is. And in the case of Brahman, one more thing is that Brahman, if it is understood as an object, the knowledge of that Brahman does not give me freedom. And therefore it is said Atma Samstham. This Atma Samstham word can be understood in two ways. Generally, I don't give two interpretations, but this time I will give. Atma Samstham means Deha Samstham. That which is obtaining in the body, in the mind itself. In the body, in which there is a mind, in the mind itself, this Atma is available. As what? As Sakshi, as Aham, Aham, Aham. Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. So this Brahman is to be understood as obtaining in the body itself. And why this idea is emphasized? To prevent you going outside in search of Brahman. You don't have to go somewhere out in search of Brahman. Therefore, it is said Atma Samstham. That is one reason. And second reason is that Brahman, when understood as oneself, then only it becomes moksha karan. And therefore, Atma Samstham means Atmani, Dehe, Manasi, Samyak Tishtati iti Atma Samstham. That which stays, obtains in the body, mind, sense complex. That is Brahman. So Brahman is available as consciousness obtaining in the body, mind, sense complex as I. In this manner, Brahman is to be understood. So Atma Samstham means obtaining in the body, mind, sense complex. Another meaning which is very close to this is Atma Samstham means in the form of the self. Atmatvena samyak tishtati iti Atma Samstham. So Brahman is to be understood as the very self. Alright. Somebody said, what is the benefit? The benefit is Ataha param kinchit na veditavyam. He means because. Why this Brahman is to be understood? Because Atah param, after this Brahma Jnanam, kinchit, anything, veditavyam na. Anything is not there to be known. Once you have understood Brahma, then anything is not there to be known. Means nothing is there to be known. Yadnatva neha bhuyonyat gnatavyam avashishyate. Bhagavad Gita. Having understood this, nothing remains to be known. Because nothing else is there other than Brahman. What is there is Brahman alone. Yasmin vignate sarvamidam vignatam bhavati. In Chandogya, in Mundaka, this idea is given that the reality, by knowing the truth, everything is as well known. Because other than truth, nothing is there. And therefore, Brahman having been understood, nothing remains to be understood. Once you have understood Brahman well as yourself, as Paripurna Tattva, then nothing remains to be understood. Means your intellectual samsara is not there. We have three needs. One need at physical level: food, clothing, shelter. Physical level needs are there, which can be satisfied by some of our efforts. Then we have got emotional need, that I need some love, care, understood, I should be understood, I should be loved, I should be cared, I should be given consideration. Some people have this issue. Swamiji, in the group, nobody asked me anything. This fellow only they ask. Nobody asked my opinion. In joint family, this is one of the big issues some people have. Swamiji, my opinion has got no value. I am not considered at all. I have so many things to say. Nobody asked me. Even if I try to ask, they will stumble, keep quiet. So emotionally, there is a need to be considered significant. This need for being considered as significance, sense of significance one wants. All are emotional needs. And third is intellectual need. I want to know this, I want to know this. If I don't know, then I feel restless. Some people are so much obsessed with grammar that if they don't know the root and the pratyaya, they feel so restless. Or if they don't know the anvaya or meaning of particular word or sentence, they feel so restless, going up and down. I remember I used to have this some time ago, very long time ago, when I was in the ashram. I really feel that how come this is not understood? So I was staying in the first floor. Then this library will be in the basement, not even ground floor. So I was on the ashram. And a huge Monier William dictionary. And I was only 42 kg that time. Now 1.5 times. So so, but I remember that this anxiety. So that is intellectual samsara. People become restless. See, love for understanding is good, but this restlessness is a samsara, is bondage. After this knowing Brahman also, you may know some details in the world. But if you don't know, you don't feel small. You feel small if you don't know certain things. Many people, they don't know computer, they feel very small. Oh, Swamiji, I don't know about computer. I don't know, Swamiji, how to use this cell phone. My grandchild only, he said so everything. And tells me, Papa, Grandpa, you do like this. I don't know it. So, feeling of smallness based on not knowing certain things. That is intellectual samsara, we can say. So, we have got samsara at the level of emotions, not considered, not loved, not cared, not understood, and physical level. Here it is said, once you understand Brahman, then nothing remains to be understood. Because you have understood one fact. Everything is Brahman, and therefore you have got knowledge of everything. What is the knowledge of everything? Everything is Brahma. So I know the truth of everything. And therefore, whatever be the details about that particular entity, the truth I know. Truth is what? It is Brahma. And therefore what happens? You become free from this intellectual samsara, the anxiety based on not knowing things. Even not knowing this Upanishads other. Oh, this Upanishad, Amrita Bindu Upanishad you have studied. Kali Santarana Upanishad you have studied. Vajrasujika Upanishad you have studied. So many names are there. Chabala Upanishad, not so. Parivrajaka Upanishad, Narada Parivrajaka Upanishad, have you studied? Not so. Muktika Upanishad, not so. Only names are also hearing first time. That doesn't matter. So sometimes in that more than knowing, there is a value for the status of being someone who knows it. You know that? I want to say yes, I know. And a little bit honesty is there, therefore if I don't know, how can I say I know? Because by chance they ask questions. So God. Anyway, for that we have way out. I have studied for a long time back. Because we are placed by. So, but even regard to that also, that anxiety is there if this Brahman is not understood well. Once I have understood Brahman, then nothing remains to be known for my fulfillment. For my intellectual fulfillment, satisfaction, no. I happen to be there and knowledge is available. It is the knowledge of myself alone. So I may know more things. But not knowing does not create any complex. I am free from the notion of being ignorant. Which is Swamiji very nicely said. There is only way to be free, completely free from ignorance. And that is knowing myself to be the Sakshi of ignorance. And another way is, same idea. Another way is that knowing that everything is Brahman alone. And thus, ataha param kinchit veditavyam na. So there is no anxiety about not knowing things. There is no complex about not knowing things. Because essentially everything is Brahman. That is very clear to me. So this is the glorification of this Brahma Jnana. It is also the result. It can be taken as a result as well, that knowing which nothing remains to be known for fulfillment. And again, the nature of the Brahma Jnanam is presented. Bhokta bhogyam preritaram cha matva. Matva means vicharya and jnatva. Having inquired into and having understood the nature of these three. Bhokta means the enjoyer, experiencer, jiva. Bhogyam, the object of experience, jagat. Preritaram, the activator, Ishvara. So Bhokta represents jiva, bhogya, jagat, and preritara, Ishvara, matva. Having inquired into the nature of jiva, bhokta, bhogya, jagat, and prerita, Ishvara, and understood them very well. What is proktam? What is declared by the rishis? Trividam sarvam etad brahma. All these threefold things, bhokta, bhogya, and preritara. Trividam is threefold. So all trividam sarvam means all these three things. All this which can be categorized into three, bhokta, bhogya, and preritara, is etad brahma proktam, is declared to be this Brahma alone. Here also Brahman is there, should be understood as Brahma, Chandasa. And here bhokta, grammatically it should be bhoktaram, vidya ekvachan. Alright. So some people, what is vidya? Don't bother about it. It is a case. Having understood these three, it is declared that all three are nothing but Brahman. Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara, all three are nothing but one Brahma. The difference among them is superficial. It is based on Nama Rupa, created by Maya. There is one stotra called Maya Panchakam. In that Maya Panchakam very nicely says, Nirupama Nitya Niramshake Api Akhande Maichiti Sarva Vikalpanadi Shunye Katayati Jagadisha Jagabhedam Jagadisha Jiva Bhedam. So, in me, consciousness which is akhanda, divisionless, in me, divisionless consciousness, Maya Ghatayati, projects what? Jagat Isha Jiva Bhedam. This division of the world, Ishvara, and this Jiva, individual. But this division is only based on the Nama Rupa, adjunct, the medium of manifestation, really there is no division at all. It is a superficial division. It is something like the division between the wave, whirlpool and the ocean. It is based on only name and forms. The truth of all three of them is water and alone. Similarly, the truth of Bhokta, Bhogya and Preritaram is Brahma alone. One Brahman alone appears to be Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. Alright, so that's the Brahma Jnana Swarupam is presented in this in the second half of the mantra, and the first half of the mantra talks about the glorification, the result of this Brahma Jnanam in the form of being free from intellectual samsara. The Anvaya. In between the first line, one word Eva is there. Eva means alone. Etat Eva. Eva goes with Etat. So Etat Eva Atma Samstam Nityam Neyam. Full stop. Ataha param hi kinchit veditavyam na asti. Asti we have to supply. Full stop. Bhokta bhogyam preritaram cha matva trividam sarvam etat Brahma, we have to supply Eva Proktam. Alright. So with this, the Brahma Jnana Swarupam, the content of Brahma Jnana, and Brahma Jnana Phalam, that topic is concluded. Brahma Jnana Swarupam is what? That Jiva is not separate from Ishvara, and Ishvara is the Karanam of Jagat, and therefore Jagat is not separate from Ishvara. So our Vedanta's approach is, you start with three, Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. Then Jagat, you resolve into Ishvara cognitively. That is, Jagat is nothing but Ishvara. And then you understand that Jiva and Ishvara are nothing but one and the same Brahman. And therefore, finally, one reality remains, which is true nature of myself. I am Akhandam Brahma. In this manner, you understand. And when you understand this, then you are free from bondage. Some people say, Swamiji, I listen to it, but still I have got bondage. Okay, what type of bondage you have? Bondage is, Swamiji, my spouse, my children don't listen to me. Or my bondage is that I have to go back home. I don't want to go. I want to be here. But I have to go. This is bondage. Bondage is, what you are feeling as bondage is at the level of the body. You as Brahman, what problem you have, you tell me. You as Brahman, if you understood that you are Brahman, then my question is, now you are Brahman only. You are not the body, you are not the senses, you are not the mind. You are Brahman. Are you convinced? Yes, Swamiji, I am Brahman. Now I tell you, you are Brahman. As Brahman, do you have to go home? As Brahman, you are everywhere. Only body has to go. Let it go. So remember, the bondage is, we are talking about the bondage which is centered on I. And that I is now understood to be Brahman. The I, Brahman, what problem you have? My son doesn't listen to me. Hey, Brahman doesn't have son. Your son is Brahman. Why Brahman should listen to Brahman? Should not listen. You are Brahman, your son is Brahman, so why son should listen to you? No. So what happens that why you feel like this? Because I have to address the genuine issues. I mean, everything but our problems we did not address. So you have to address in this manner. Do I have any problem as Brahman? This Vedanta does not solve your problem of food and that food and shelter and all this. Yeah, if you don't have food, then also you are Purna. That's what Vedanta says. If you don't have dress, still you are Brahman. That's what Vedanta says. Vedanta will not give you dress, etc. You study Vedanta, therefore dress will come, food will come. May come if you are committed, that is a part of the law of karma. But Vedanta is not meant for that. Vedanta is meant for seeing whether there is food or no food, I am Brahma, I am Purna. Hunger belongs to prana. I am the Sakshi of that prana, therefore I am free from hunger. I am Sakshi of that hunger. Prana has got hunger, I am Sakshi of that. That is what the benefit of Vedanta. And therefore, whenever you have this particular thought in your mind, Swamiji, I understood I am Brahman, but still I have this bondage, I have this problem. You ask this question. Immediately lift yourself up to this Vedantic vision. What? As Brahman, what problem I have? You have any problem? Tell me. As Brahman, as the shining existence, I like this expression, the shining existence, what problem you have? No problem. It is Swamiji used to say that psychology has no solution and Vedanta has no problem. The problem itself is not there. You imagine the problem and Vedanta says that you have superimposed the problems. You don't have problems. It is not denial. It is not that we are escaping or denial. Psychology is for denial. We are not denying the problem. We are putting the problem in proper perspective. We are giving proper perspective of the problem. Even in Vyavahara, people lose the perspective of problem and therefore they have a lot of conflicts, confusion. Put every problem, even in the worldly transaction, this is one important thing. Always put problem in proper perspective. Don't enlarge. So my question is, as Brahman, what problem you have? Have you understood you are Brahman? Now you cannot say, no, sorry, I have not understood. I hope you have understood you are Brahman. Every time when I will stand there and I will ask, who are you? So I am Brahman, then only you can go down. I got a nice idea. So until so this is how this is to be addressed. Okay. Now, having talked about the content of Brahmajnanam, that is, I am the truth of Jiva Jagat and Ishvara, I am Purnaha. Having talked about the content and the result, now from the next mantra, especially 13 and 14, the sadhana for getting Brahmajnana. Moksha is by Brahmajnana, but how Brahmajnanam is to be attained? For that, particular sadhana is prescribed with the help of example. Vanher yatha yonigatasya murtihi na drishyate naiva cha linganashaha sabhuya evendana yonigrihyah tadvo bhayam vai pranavena dehe Here, the sadhana of Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam, with the help of Shastra and Guru, is presented with the help of the example of Arani Mathanam, churning of the wooden pieces for creating fire. This is a very popular example in Upanishads. Some of you might be familiar, some of you may not be, so I will give you some details. When some big ritual is to be performed, then of course ritual requires fire. Because the very definition of the ritual is Havit Pradhanam. Devatam Uddishya Agdau Havit Pradhanam. Offering the oblation into fire, remembering the Devata, that is called Yajna. Yaga. Therefore, fire is an important part of the ritual. And that fire is not to be lighted up by this matchbox, etc. Fire is to be kindled. And there is a particular process and particular things prescribed. In that, 2 wooden pieces are used. That wooden piece is called Arani. Arani means that wooden piece. And there are 2 in number. One is called upper wooden piece, Uttar Arani. The other one is called Adho Arani. Adho Arani, the lower wooden piece. And they are of particular shape. The Uttar Arani is like a churning rod, hand drill. If you have seen wooden hand drill, it will be like that. And it will be rotated with the help of a rope. There will be a handle also. Like, exactly like in the olden days, the carpenters used to use the hand drill. But of course, it will not have any iron piece. This is a wooden piece. So it will be like a rod, and on the top there is a handle. Something like this, it will be like this. This upper wooden piece, Uttar Arani, which will be rotated into Adho Arani. Adho Arani will be like one wooden piece, steady wooden piece. In that, some hole will be there, scoop like. And that will remain stationary. Adho Arani, lower wooden piece, remains stationary. It is kept on the floor. And on that, the Uttar Arani will be kept in the hole of the Adho Arani. And then the person, the priest, will be rotating that, spinning that. And then he has to rotate this upper Arani very fast. And because of the friction between the 2 wooden pieces, and there are particular Ashwatha Vruksha upper and the lower is the Shami Vruksha. Like that, they from 2 different trees, the wooden pieces are made. And so much rotating of the upper Arani, lower Arani remains steady. Then, because of friction, some fire is born. And that will be collected in the cotton. The spark will be collected in cotton. And that cotton will be Karpura and then Yagda Kunda and then fire will be lit. So this is the process. It is called Agni Mathanam or Arani Mathanam. Agni Mathanam means churning. churning for creating fire, therefore it's called Agni Mathanam. And churning is done of the wooden piece, therefore it's called Arani Mathanam also. And in this Arani Mathanam, the upper Uttara Arani is there, Adho Arani is there, and priest is there. And when rotation is done, churning is done, then the fire is born. Fire gets manifested. This is the example. Now, in the Dashtanta, in the main subject matter, scripture or scriptural sentences represented by Omkara is the upper wooden piece, Uttar Arni. Scriptures represented by Omkara is a comparison for, is comparable to this Uttar Arni, the upper wooden piece. I told you, like hand drill it will be. So scriptural sentences represented by Omkara is like Uttar Arani. And the mind, body mind cells complex of the student, especially mind, but of course body as well, is Adho Arani, the lower wooden piece. Lower wooden piece should not move, should remain steady. So the body mind sense complex of the student should remain steady and allow the Uttar Arani Shastra Vakya to get drilled in the mind. And Guru is the priest. Guru is doing the churning of Shastra Vakya, drilling the Shastra Vakya where? In the minds of the student. But student has to remain steady. He is looking here and there, 9:30, kitne time hai? So 10 minutes you go. He should be fully available. Remain steady. And then this drilling is done. Drilling means what? Shastra Vichara. What we are doing now is what? Drilling. Churning. Churning of the Shastra Vichara into the mind of the student. That is called Shravana. And by extension, Mananam, which will be further extended in the form of Nididhyasana. So, churning here in Dashtanta, in the main subject matter, is in the form of Shastra Vichara, which is done in the form of Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasanam with the help of Guru. And when it is done, when Guru is drilling this Shastra Vakya in the mind of the student, then what happens? That Agni, this Atma Tattvam gets manifest. Gets manifest means what? Becomes clear. In the Arani, in the upper wooden piece and lower wooden piece, Agni is there. Fire is there, but fire was what? Unmanifest. If fire was not there, it will not come out. If you do a lot of churning in water, nothing will come out. So fire is there in the wooden piece, but it was not manifest, not available to see, available to be used. But when churning is done, then that fire becomes manifest. So fire has got two versions, hidden version and manifest version. Similarly, Atma also is there in the body mind sense complex, but hidden as it were. So Atma also has got two versions, hidden Atma and Abhivyakta Atma, Jnata Atma. So when churning is not done, then fire is there in the wooden piece, but not available to be appreciated and used. But when churning is done, it is available for appreciation and use. Similarly, before the churning of the Shastra Vakya, with the help of Guru, Atma was very much there. But Atma was hidden. And when the churning in the form of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam is done, then Atma becomes manifest. Manifest means evident. Atma becomes very evident as Brahma. So Atma also has got two versions, hidden version and evident version. And how hidden Atma becomes evident Atma, known Atma, understood Atma? By the help of the churning. Shastra Vakya churning with the help of Guru makes hidden Atma evident as Brahman. This idea is given in these two mantras. So we will read the 13th, we have read. First example is given. Yatha, just as. Vanhe, Vanhe means of fire. What type of fire? Yoni gatasya. Gatasya means obtaining. The fire which is obtaining yoni. Yoni means the source, the wood. Just as of fire which is obtaining in the wood, in the source of fire, fuel, wood. Of that fire, murtihi, visible form, na drishyate, is not seen. Before churning of this firewood, the form, visible form of fire is not seen. These two wooden pieces, aranis are there. The upper arani and lower arani, they are there. But, and this fire is there in this arani, in both wooden pieces. But its visible form is not seen. We are not seeing fire. The visible form, the heat and light form of fire is not seen. When? Before churning. So we have to understand what? Mathanat prak. Before churning, the visible form of fire which is there, in the firewood is not seen. But linga nashaha naivacha. And linga nashaha, the absence of clue or the absence of subtle form of fire is not there. Absence of clue of fire or absence of the subtle form of fire is not there. Double negative. Absence of subtle form of fire is not there. Means what? Subtle form is there. So fire is very much present in its subtle form, unmanifest form, latent form. It is very much there. Clue is there. Even before fire comes out, clue is there. So one commentator very nicely said, he said, what is the clue? He said, when you start churning, few rounds of churning itself, you feel there is heat. Heat is generated. Fire has not yet come. Fire in this spark form has not come. But heat is there. That is the clue. So, linga nashaha naivacha. Absence of the clue or absence of subtle form of fire, hidden form of fire is not there. Double negative. Means what? Presence of subtle form of fire is there. In fact, we know that. That is why we churn. If you are very sure that fire is not there in the wooden piece, you will not churn. We don't churn in water to get fire because we know it is not there. Similarly here, if we knew that it is not there, we would not have churn. It means Indra, the indicator, the clue of fire is there. A clue or subtle form of fire is there. Indra has got both the meanings, clue and subtle form. That's why our Sukshma Sharira is called Linga Sharira. So subtle form is not absent.
of subtle form is not there. Then how do we get this fire? Says Saha. Saha means Vani. Fire. Saha means that means fire. Bhuyaha again. And we have to supply Matanena by joining. Eva indeed. Indana Yoni Grihyaha. Grihyaha means to be extracted, to be attained. That fire is Grihyaha, to be attained. From what? Yoni, its source. What is the source? Indana, the firewood. In this case, Arni. Even though fire, visible form of fire is not seen, but its flue is there and it is to be extracted, to be obtained. The fire is to be obtained from its source in the form of Indana. Indana is firewood, but here it is Arni. How? We have to supply Matanena by churning. Visible form of fire is not seen, and that fire with visible form is to be attained by journey. Tattva ubhayam. Here Vashanda is there. Tattva ubhayam. Why is Iva? So, Tat ubhayam Iva means like that two versions of fire. Fire has got two versions, hidden version and evident version. Before churning, fire is hidden. After churning, fire is evident. Just as it is the case with fire, that Ubhayam Iva. Like that two versions of fire, Pranamena Dehe, we have to supply Atma Upanadhyate. Like that, like fire, Atma Upanadhyate, the self is recognized. Where? Dehe, in this body mind sense complex, especially in the mind which is obtaining in the body. How is it to be obtained? Pranavena, with the help of Omkara. Omkara is for Pranava. Why Omkara is for Pranava? Prakashena Nuyate Stuyate Paramatma Anena iti Pranava. Omkara is for Pranava because by Omkara Paramatma is glorified, revealed. Therefore Omkara is for Pranava. By this Pranava, Omkara, Atma Upanadhyate is recognized, cognized. How? Matana. By this Abhyasa, by the churning process of Shravana, Manana and Nidya. So, why this indeed? Indeed, Atma is recognized in the mind with the help of Pranava, Omkara, which represents all Shastra Vakya. And how it is to be recognized? Matana, by the process of the churning of Shastra Vakya. With the help of So what is the message conveyed here? Just as fire has got two versions, one is a hidden form, other is this evident form. And hidden is made evident by churning. Similarly, Atma is very much present in the body mind sense complex, but it is to be made evident as Brahman with the help of Shastra Vakya, with the help of the churning of Shastra Vakya, done with the help of Guru. Thus, Dana Nirmadana Abhyasa helps the person to make the hidden